What the hell?
Oh, Jesus criminy. That's weird.
Maybe it's Skype, of course.
Maybe it is. Can they hear me now?
There we go. Yes, yes, we can.
Wow. I don't know what happened. That's weird. The production program that I use is called OBS, and I don't know what the hell that was all about. Very weird,
Wow.
but welcome everybody once again to the Paranormal Portal. It just wouldn't be the portal without some kind of freaking problem. But I'm glad you guys can hear me now, and I'm glad that you're seeing me, and hopefully everything is working well. My God. Woo! No, you can't see Sheldon yet because I haven't introduced him yet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not alone here. I'm joined by the big branch himself, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. How you doing?
Doing good. Spoilers. I am here. Yeah.
Kung Fu Sheldon.
Yeah, I know.
Well, welcome.
My voice is in the future.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Here's the thing, folks. I'm using several different systems in order to make this work. There's a lot of behind the scenes with a lot of this stuff, as far as configuration updates, and updates are the killer because sometimes software updates on its own, and I thought I've turned all that off, but apparently there's still some ghosts in the machine, if you will, and that was one of them. So but we are live and underway here now. It's our Wednesday 2-hour show, so we have 2 full hours, or an hour and 40 minutes now.
And even better, no commercial breaks this time.
Well, unless I need the bathroom, but otherwise, yeah, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell goes on, but we've been rolling pretty good for a long time without any technical glitches. But if you watch our back catalog, it's chock full of things going sideways, and it happened quite often on the show. Just some weird anomalies. Can I say those are paranormal? No. But do I think they're paranormal? Maybe.
Maybe you're cursed. Yeah.
Well, don't say cursed. What?
Technologically cursed.
Don't
Yeah.
say that either. Just don't jinx anything. We're going to be thinking happy thoughts from here on out. So, wow. We are back at it. It's Wednesday night, and hope you guys are having a good week. Happy hump day to all of you out there grinding the week away. And I know that I am always thrilled to see so many of you here joining us on the show. We've got a lot of things to get through tonight. First and foremost, though, I got to thank the sponsor of the Paranormal Portal here on YouTube, and that is, of course, Cryptid Coin, ladies and gentlemen. Cryptid Coin. We talk about it every show, but I just know a lot of people are turning to cryptocurrencies to look for investment opportunities and safe harbors for money. And I don't claim to know much anything about investment opportunities, but I will tell you that I am personally invested in Cryptid Coin as well. And I'm absolutely thrilled that they wanted to pick up the show as a sponsor for Cryptid Coin. So if you're looking for a possible cryptocurrency home for you to invest in, then I encourage you to check them out. It's you can go to cryptidcoin.io. Again, that's cryptidcoin.io. It's on your screen now. And learn more about it. See if it looks like an opportunity you want to check out. And again, special thank you to Cryptid Coin for sponsoring the Paranormal Portal. It means the world because, you know, this is a labor of love in most cases, but it's nice that they've stepped in and decided to take some of that burden. So thank you, Cryptid Coin, and let's get back to the rest of the show. Also, I want to thank our members on the YouTube channel. We have memberships available, and I know it's not a good fit for everybody, so please, understand it's not just a shameless money grab. It just really does help because there's a lot of investment in doing these shows, and most of which for, going on 7 years now, it's been just a labor of love, like I said before. But those of you that have given with super chats, those of you that have decided to become members, thank you so much. However, I don't want people to feel like, well, I wish I could give. Well, you don't have to. You really don't. And I just want to tell you that I love the fact that all of you guys are supporting the show by just showing up and being a part of it. To me, that's the greatest gift of all, because it makes all of this worthwhile that we're having this community and this discussion together. The way that you can support, if you can't financially support, and that's just be here when you can, or watch the videos when you can't. Like the videos, leave a comment if you're watching the replays. I really appreciate that because that goes so far in the algorithm on YouTube to show that there's things happening here, and it will promote this show more often based on those activities. So any way you can help that way, it means the world. So lots of ways to help support this, and thank you all so much, those of you that do regularly. I've got the greatest mods in all of YouTube are on this channel. I mean, there's no question.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for showing up day after day after day when we're doing these shows, helping to keep the roof on the place, and chasing out all the chaff when it comes in. You guys are amazing, and the best audience. You guys are always participating. You're always a part of the discussion, and it's just so appreciated. So thank you so much, all of you that continue to be a part of this show and this community, and those of you that share about the show. Let people know that may not know about the portal, and that means the world as well. So any and all of those things mean so much. Oh, thank you, Android.
Thank you, Android.
Thank you. He says, travel funds to be a VIP at Merkel's documentary. Lord knows I'm going to need a few of those, but I'll be the only guy rollerblading over to Tennessee. But yeah, we'll get there if and when that becomes a possibility, for sure. I'll definitely try to make it. But anyway, we got a lot of things to get through here tonight on the show. We're going to get into the news here momentarily and go through all those curated fun pieces of news in just a minute here. But Sheldon, how you doing? Everything going good?
Everything's going great, I would say. Nothing to complain about here. Weather's even been nice and cooperating, so everything is all around not paranormal, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Well, we'll drag you to an investigation sometime, and you can do that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's a side project that I'm working on. I actually was involved in a paranormal investigation over at the Davenport Hotel in Spokane, Washington. It is the most beautiful hotel I've ever been in my life, and not like I've been in a ton of hotels, but I've been in a few, and some really nice ones. But this was just a jewel. It was just a gem. And very special thanks to Charles Howard Johnson, who's a paranormal investigator in Spokane, for inviting me along and letting me take part in that with him. We had just a great time, and we caught some really cool activity. Now, what I'm doing is trying to put together, in what little time that I have, I'm trying to put together a video of that investigation for you guys to check out. So keep an eye on the channel. It's underway. It's in this very, very rudimentary stages. I'm still going through some of the evidence and trying to highlight pieces and parts for you guys. But I was really proud of the things that we encountered and accomplished in that one night of investigating. It was fantastic. And we got as much activity as most ghost channels get, those ghost shows that are on the cable or wherever. So I was really proud of it. We had a good time and some pretty phenomenal activity. So we'll keep watching for that. It'll be on this channel, and we'll get into it more as I get a little further down the road, including maybe some sneak peeks for those of you that are happen to be here for it, whenever that is. But that's a project I'm working on as well in the little bit of time that I do have. It's just incredible. And Sheldon just wrapped up another Paranormal Portal Pieces episode, which highlights some of the activity that we have on these 2-hour shows. And it's a good episode. He did a nice job. He's just a hell of an editor. If you guys didn't know, Sheldon puts all of those Paranormal Portal Pieces episodes together. And so check out our other channel, which is on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Paranormal Portal Pieces, all one word. I know it's a mouthful, but I didn't know what else to call it. So
I'll link it in the chat. Don't worry.
Yeah, if you would, please. Thank you. But you can check out some of Sheldon's work on all those video elements that are over there. And it's pretty awesome. So anyway, enough. Check out the podcast too. It's available on all the major podcast and minor ones as well, as far as I know. So let's get to the news, huh, Sheldon?
I think that's a perfect place to start.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Paranormal Portal News. the most trusted name in news. I like that. Special thanks to Wes Germer again for that interlude. That's awesome. That opening for the newscast. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so I have curated several articles for your news adventure that we're about to embark on here. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. And let's see, what do we got first on the grill here? Let's whip up the first course of our news dinner for the night. Let me close that ad that just managed to pop up. All right. So the first one up on deck here is from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is new evidence suggests that even spiders have dreams.
Oh.
What? Yeah, even spiders have dreams. What the hell would they be dreaming of? Like flies? What do they dream of?
just all flies in there. Yep, all flies. Yep.
It's just a world of flies, and yeah, I don't know. A behavioral ecologist has made a fascinating discovery that could challenge what we know of arachnids. I don't know if that's disturbing or is that cool that they're dreaming. Now I kind of feel guilty for the ones that I didn't let continue their existence.
It's less humane to kill them now.
They have dreams. I don't know if I like that or not. Or are they going to eventually take over? What does this mean? So it says when Daniela Robler conducted an experiment in her home, which involved keeping and observing jumping spiders in clear plastic boxes on her windowsill, she couldn't have imagined what she'd find. She had become suspicious of something interesting was going on when she went to check on one of them one evening, only to find the spiders suspended motionless beneath the lids of their boxes. I had no idea what happened, she said. I thought they were dead. Well, it soon became apparent, however, that the arachnids were simply sleeping. So she set up a camera to watch them all night long, and that's when the magic happened. In the recordings, the spiders could be seen twitching during brief periods of time. They were just uncontrollably twitching in a way that really looked a lot like when dogs or cats dream and have their little REM phases, said Robler. What she has discovered was that spiders, too, seem to experience periods of REM sleep and could in fact be capable of experiencing dreams in much the same way as other animals do. It wouldn't surprise me at all if jumping spiders have dreams, said behavioral ecologist Lisa Taylor. They live in such a rich sensory world, and we know they have amazing cognitive capabilities and memory. Wow. This is a video. I think we should probably check this out.
Do it. Yeah.
All right. I don't know what to do here with the sound, but let's just check it out. Oh, here's the twitching. Yep, little dream twitch. Oh, man. Look at that. He's eating. Looks like he's eating something now. He's like, yeah, I got you. He caught a 50-pound fly.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're right.
Take that. Yeah.
That's really cool, actually.
It's kind of cool and kind of, I mean, they don't have like eyelids, do they? Leg curling?
No.
It's a spiderling. It says retinal movements. Where's that? Oh, yeah, you can see his little eyes moving. Ah! Oh, that's really bizarre.
That's awesome.
It is kind of cool. I've always loved the little jumping spiders. I think they're, I don't know. All right, I'm weird, but they look really cute, I think.
They actually do. They do.
It's those big
Rachel
ones.
says they have REM times 8 because they're 8 eyes.
That's right. That's crazy. So spiders might dream, folks.
Oh.
I never would have expected that because oftentimes we don't give a lot of credit to the natural world around us in that regard. I mean, obviously our dogs and cats do have dreams because they'll just sit and run and whimper and bark and place, and cats are twitching all the time, and their tails will even go like they're about to pounce on something. But it's pretty crazy that even spiders could dream. I mean, God, on this show we've covered driving goldfish. They put goldfish in a tank wherever they swim in the tank, the little vehicle that tank is mounted on would drive.
That's right.
And now we got dreaming spiders. I don't know, man. I think we've really mischaracterized and really misrepresented the wild world around us.
It's actually really bizarre to me that it like that we're discovering this now. Like I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we live in a world where we kind of know everything. We kind of know this and that, but we're always discovering stuff all the time. Like, I mean, even little stuff like spiders dreaming.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
who would have thunk that?
We're always discovering more and more and more. It's crazy.
But I think that's a great example of the fact that we have a lot more to learn. Much like the paranormal. I mean, we have this hubris, this arrogance that, well, we know this and we know that, and so it's like these dead ends. They just became dead ends because it was, we know all that stuff, but we don't know a lot. And I like it. I like that spiders are dreaming. At least these are the cute ones. Those big ones that come down from the ceiling and they got like boxing gloves on, those freak me out. They're like enormous. There's these other ones that are like, I think they're wolf spiders or something that are so fast. I'd be like sitting in my house and all of a sudden this almost mouse-sized thing goes shooting by on the floor. It's like, yeah. I mean, they're so quick. It's like, oh,
geez, that big?
Well, maybe not that big. They seem huge, though. When it's happening, they're huge, Sheldon. It might be my nerves, but they get bigger when it's at night. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah.
That's fair. Android says, if I ever start a podcast, I was actually thinking of calling it Humans Don't Know Crap. That sounds like a good title. Yeah.
You'll probably do better than the Portal. Check out this new show, Humans Don't Know Crap. It's worth a shot, Android, by all means. Why not? Everybody else is starting a show. I think it's worth a shot. Anyway, that's cool. Spiders have dreams. I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years, but there you have it.
Yeah, true.
There you have it. Let's go to the next. What? Something else?
Oh, it's just I would have always I always assumed insects don't dream because of, I don't know, I always equated like dreams to like the size of the brain. I don't know.
Sure.
I guess size really doesn't matter with things like that. That's awesome. I wasn't even making a joke. Wait, what? Oh my! Oh, I see.
Yeah, you see where I went there? I can't go any further there because I'm trying to make this a family show. But
I get it. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, we'll be more careful in the future.
Okay, why start now?
Yeah, I guess
it's not like we have standards here, for God's sakes. But
oh God,
we're not sophisticated enough to have standards. But yeah, size doesn't matter. Sheldon, we got to clip that. That's awesome.
Oh, I guess so. I guess we'll make that part of another video.
That'll be another Pieces video right there, folks. You were here for it. There you go. Spider's Dream. Next up, this is weird. I don't know what the hell this is all about. But I thought, well, it's weird. It belongs in the news. Unexplained-mysteries.com reports man rents huge billboard to trade one cheese string. What the hell is wrong with it?
Oh,
this is where money, like if you have so much money that you don't even need common sense, then you've got too much money.
You know what though? That's hilarious. If I was like driving through a town and I saw something, if I saw that, I'm like, okay, that's funny. All right.
It says accepting trades for one cheese string, marble flavor, still in original packaging. No, what does it say? No low balls. I know what I have. That's hilarious.
It's a troll. I like it though.
Sure
I like that. You know what?
It's clever. It's clever. The peculiar advert recently took pride and place in Toronto's busy Yonge and Dundas Square. What do you have when you move into your new home and find that the previous occupant has left a solitary cheese string in a refrigerator? While most people would likely have thrown it in the trash, Angel Domingo decided that the best thing to do with this cheese string was to find someone else willing to trade for it. To this end, he spent a rather large sum of money renting out an enormous billboard in the middle of Toronto to promote the fact that the cheese string was available for trade. The move quickly went viral, with hundreds of people phoning him to make offers and multiple news outlets getting in touch to determine the story behind the peculiar stunt. This is probably the strangest thing that I've ever had to offer up, he said. Somebody told me that I wouldn't get anything for it and nobody would want it, but I guess some people really want it. I've received a lot of offers. I think the most anybody has had to offer me was 2 Persian cats. So far, however, he has yet to accept any of the offers. There you go. I think we should watch that clip. What do you think?
I think so too.
All right, here we go. We're going for it. From City News.
Richard Southern joins us once again. We're chatting about some of the more interesting and fun stories of the day. And Richard, an Ontario man has bought a huge billboard in Dundas Square, and you'll never guess what he's looking to trade.
It caught our eye. I know it caught your eye. It's right behind you there in Young Dundas Square. Big old billboard, Erica, advertising a trade for a single cheese string. I want to show you it. It reads, Erica, quote, accepting trades for one cheese string, marble flavor, still in its original packaging. There's a phone number, as you can see there. We called it at City News, and a man named Angel answered. He said he found this cheese string, Erica, in his refrigerator in a new home he bought when he moved to Toronto. He says he's big into trading, and he thought the found cheese string would make a neat item to trade. Get this, he says he's already received hundreds of inquiries since the ad went up. Some of the craziest offers he's received include Persian cats in return for the cheese string, a used concrete truck, and cereal. Someone even offered their girlfriend, Erica. He has not. He hasn't received any offers yet.
Wow, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you have, your garbage might be somebody else's treasure. Right, Sheldon?
I know what I'm going to do when I get rich. I know what I'm going to do. Yep.
What? I don't even know. Know.
That's too funny. It's going to be something minute like that, and it's going to be like a serious ad.
That's a way to make your name known, I guess, and probably your phone. I imagine his phone's ringing off the hook. I mean, yeah, everybody's got to be calling this guy, and somebody's going to offer him something stupid like a car or something just because they want to be involved in this. Wow. Just whatever you got, it might be worth something to somebody, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you heard it here on the news.
I wonder how much it costs to put like an ad up on those billboards or those big ones.
Yeah, that's got to
per
be
day.
No joke. I don't know how long you flew it up there for, but man, that's got to be expensive.
I would guess thousands at least.
More money than sense, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. It looked like it was one of those automatic billboards, so probably he just bought a slide in a display so that it probably goes through several. It didn't look like one of those old glue-up types, you know.
Yeah, it looks like an electric one, yeah.
Yes, electric. It's electric. All right, the next up in the news, and this one is kind of spooky, but we'll see what's going on. Unexplained-mysteries.com brings us terrified family flees home due to paranormal phenomena. Let's see what's going on here. This family, August 8th, 2022. Lauren Roth and her family were ultimately forced to flee after the activity at their home left them traumatized. Roth, who moved into the rented property in Teesside, England, with her husband and 2 children last November, quickly became suspicious that something was amiss. In addition to witnessing lights turning on and off by themselves, she kept developing unexplained bruises, and her son would keep waking up screaming in the middle of the night. He would also act as though there was someone else in the room with him. It got to the point where my son was talking to somebody, said Lauren. They used to sleep all night with no problems at all, and my son would wake up and he'd stand at the top of the stairs staring. Yeah, that's creepy. Things were getting moved around the house and thrown down the stairs. Yeah, good thing it wasn't the kid. Jeez. If it could be a build-up kind of thing, right? We'd seen something during the night. Things went from bad to worse when she began experiencing feelings of being choked by an unseen assailant, and her daughter started to develop unexplained scratch marks. The last straw came in June of this year when her son went to bed one evening and started screaming, "Get off me, leave me alone," as though he was being attacked by something invisible. The family ended up living in a caravan in their neighbor's drive while they looked for a new home. You see it in movies, but you don't think it's going to happen to you, said Lauren. We've literally had to get up and move. We had no other choice. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's horrible. Yeah. But I hope, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't talk about a lot of things. Did they try to get someone in to clear it, to cleanse it, push whatever it is in there out? I don't know. And that's
another story where there's not a lot of information.
Yeah, it's just these clips, and those are the tough ones. But I bet, there must be more to this that they've got. I mean, you don't just get to, hey, that scared me, let's move. I think you go through kind of a journey with it and try to hopefully get rid of it and bring in people that are, helpful in that way. But yeah, it doesn't.
Well, with the story, we could at least assume, like, we could even say that what if it started this strong that fast? Like it started strong, like one night automatically scratches on his body and screaming and all that. If it started off that strong, that's actually kind of scary if it starts off like that.
Yeah, I just got an email today from somebody that was explaining something they experienced as a teenager, and it has to do with a cemetery. And the person's an adult now, but they were talking about this group of their friends went to this cemetery, and they kind of split up because they saw like a little girl or something. So they kind of split up, and one of the guys went around the corner, and he was literally lifted and thrown and knocked over a huge headstone because he flew into it. And so that kind of energy, that kind of power is frightening. I mean, at that point, one of the biggest foolish things that I've ever heard in the paranormal world is ghosts can't hurt you.
Oh, God.
No, they can. I think they don't, because most often these ghosts were people, and they're not malicious and hurtful for the most part. But over a period of time, they could become powerful enough to do that, I guess. I don't know. Or it could be not a human at all. It could be something else. But that's
because it shows that's how dark it is.
Right.
That it doesn't need you to fear it to get, whatever it gets out of it, whether it's your energy or to get strong. I don't know however it works, but that's actually really scary if it started out that strong. Yeah.
I mean, that was just there's so much more to what she shared with me, and but just fascinating kind of activity. And that kind of stuff does happen. People getting choked, people getting thrown, people getting beat up. There's many stories out there of ghosts hurting people. And by ghosts, I don't mean to suggest that they were all formerly human or whether they were never human. I couldn't possibly know that. But to say ghosts can't hurt you, I think is a very misguided statement. Now, there are things that protect you, like a strong faith and perhaps spiritual awareness and utilizing, your faith or symbols or whatever as a protection. And your belief in those symbols will offer protection. But to say that a ghost can't do something, I don't think that's good advice at all. I think you always have a healthy respect for anything, because not to is to mock it, and to mock things, you're challenging it. So
yeah, I mean, even when we lived in Minnesota, I'm not saying it happened often, but there were times I woke up with scratches on me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
Like on my back, and like these 3-pronged scratches. Like yeah,
we kind of went through a period there. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That was pretty. What do I want to say? Pretty intense.
Yeah,
it was pretty intense for quite a while, but. Yeah, that's the stuff right there, folks. I don't know. I think this kind of stuff is terrifying. I hope that family got help. I hope they got somebody. If they just sold, I hope they were able to sell and move on. But the problem is that somebody else is going to go into this house, eventually. Yeah. And what do they inherit? So I hope somebody took it upon themselves to try to clear that place. But anyway, creepy story.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next. And next up on the news is this. Oh, yeah, I saw that. I didn't really read through this one, so I don't know what we're in for here. But I thought this is a pretty wild headline. And it's not really paranormal, but it's definitely not normal. This kind of stuff doesn't happen all the time, thank God. But it does happen. And what I'm talking about is sinkholes. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Enormous sinkhole swallows up the ground in Chile. Look at that. That looks huge. That is so bizarre. Yeah, it's going to come up on your screen. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
I'm assuming this is a road. And if you look at that, that is a huge, and it doesn't just kind of drop off. It's like a gaping hole into something. You don't even know how deep that is, but it's like literally a black hole. It says a huge a huge sinkhole measuring 82 feet across and descending 650 feet down. Oh my God, that's huge. has opened up in the Atacama region of Chile. Large enough to swallow up the entire White House, this gargantuan sinkhole opened up just outside the town of Tierra Amarilla, around 400 miles to the north of the capital of Santiago. According to National Service of Geology and Mining, I don't know what that word is, the hole was first spotted at the weekend on Canadian-owned land that is currently used for copper mining. Well, that might have something to do with it. There's a considerable distance, approximately 200 meters, 656 feet, to the bottom, said the services director, David Montenegro. When was this? Yeah, this is recent. We haven't detected any material down there, but we have seen the presence of a lot of water. Unfortunately, the hole did not open underneath, or fortunately, rather, the hole did not open underneath a populated area. However, the local mayor has expressed concerns that if it happens again, the next time things could be a lot worse. Today, it happened in a space that's an agricultural property, but our greatest fear now is that this could happen in a populated place, on a street, in a school, he said. Protecting the integrity of our inhabitants is our greatest concern at the moment. Yeah, you'd think they'd be doing some pretty intensive ground surveys just to make sure, because a lot of times what's happening is that there's underground aquifers and things like limestone that can degrade with water and possibly washes out a whole cavity underneath and then will eventually reach the surface and boom, down it comes. So that's frightening. I mean, everybody's seen those pictures. I've seen them of like a whole city, like corner is gone. Just there's a big gaping hole in that ate up the road and part of buildings. And that's like War of the Worlds kind of stuff with Tom Cruise. It's like, oh my God, what did that? But yeah, that's scary stuff. But thank God nobody was hurt. So
yeah.
Continuing on into our next news story, and this is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. This is kind of interesting. I don't know. I don't know what you like to listen to or whatever, but anytime this topic comes up, I'm always excited. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Bill Maher and David Duchovny talk UFOs. Yep. The pair briefly discussed the UFO phenomena during an interview on HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher. If there's one person who outright ought to have at least some interest in UFOs, it's the man who played Fox Mulder in the iconic 90s TV series The X-Files. However, in real life, David Duchovny is more of a skeptic and does not share the beliefs of his on-screen counterpart. That doesn't stop him from having his own theories about the subject, however. During a recent interview with Bill Maher, he suggested in tongue-in-cheek fashion that UFOs could contain the alien equivalent of criminals and misfits that were once cast off into the open sea as part of the Ship of Fools strategy for dealing with the unwanted elements of society. Yeah, that's probably possible, I guess. This might explain their fascination with teeth drilling and anal probing, he quipped. Wow. Whoa.
Okay.
Some alien civilization was fed up with these offenders, and their dentist put them in an intergalactic ship, and sometimes they come around us, he said. Maher, meanwhile, suggested a potential explanation for why UFOs keep buzzing U.S. Navy pilots, because that's who they are casing to attack, he said. They're seeing what they can do. You can check out the interview below. I don't think they're doing that at all. I think
no.
they're just interested in what's going on. I don't think they need to be worried about what we can do, because the gap in technology is so vast that whatever they want to do, they could already do it. They don't need to spend time figuring out if we're a threat. I'm sure these civilizations, before they even come here, have already plugged into our internet and any of our broadcasts that are being beamed out into space, and are probably really familiar with our culture and our capabilities by a long shot by the time they get here.
If they wanted to, they could wipe us out, and I feel like in a matter of a week, if they wanted to.
Oh, I'm sure much quicker than that. Really, I'm sure they could. Yeah. But
I was being generous.
But thank God they don't, because we wouldn't put up much of a fight. I'm sure we wouldn't be able to. But at any rate, let's continue. And we're going to go to the next one up. We're getting down to the wire here. I think I got some archive stuff coming up now. And this one's a little interesting. You've heard of sleepwalking, obviously, but Here's a new take on that whole sleeping thing. And this is from 2012. February 13th, 2012, from unexplained-mysteries.com. Woman sends coherent texts while asleep. Paramedic Candy Gay suffers from a sleeping disorder that causes her to send text messages while asleep. Yeah, that's your story, huh?
Yeah, that's the excuse.
Despite being unconscious, Candy is able to send completely coherent text messages to her friends due to a condition that's similar to sleepwalking. 9 times out of 10, I have no idea I texted in the middle of the night or I responded to a text, she said. Sleep specialist Dr. Ashke Mahadevia recommends sufferers simply avoid keeping their phone with them when they go to bed. They're not totally asleep or awake in their consciousness, so they're in a limbo state, and that's where they act and do these things. That's the whole story. So apparently this woman texts. Now, if she's using a phone like this with the numbers instead of a keypad with letters, then I'm really impressed, because that's I couldn't spell anything on those things.
This was written in 2012, so
yeah, hey, but 2012 they had. I'm pretty sure they had keypads by then. I hope so. Like smartphones, I think were around. But yeah,
you're right. Never mind, they were. My bad. Oh my God, yeah,
yeah.
Right.
But still, you know, I mean, that's why I never even started texting until they gave me a keyboard to work with, because I was gonna hit like 77342, you know, whatever, try to spell something. It's like, no, I give up. Just call me. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Sleep texting. It's a thing. Let's go to the next one. The next and last one, as it works out. And this is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this is weird. This is weird. I don't know. This is like, you know, there's of course those that think that gender is fluid. And I'm not saying anything either way on that. Believe what you like, whatever's comfortable to you, believe that. But apparently so do roosters. Because scientists from 2012, scientists investigate egg-laying rooster.
Oh.
Egg-laying rooster. A rooster on a small farm in China has made headlines after it mysteriously started to lay eggs. Huh? The bird's owner said that the rooster started to produce eggs only after all the hens he had been keeping were gone. I thought it was a joke and that one of my neighbors had put eggs in there for fun, he said, but the next day there was another egg, and so on the third day. I waited and was amazed when I saw that the rooster laid an egg. Local TV station has picked up the story, prompting local agricultural ministry scientists to turn up to perform tests on the bird in an attempt to get to the bottom of the mystery.
Guess we know the answer to if it was the chicken or the egg first.
Right. What's the answer? I don't know where you go.
Maybe
the rooster came first, and
yeah, the rooster came first.
Laid the egg with the chicken in it. I don't know how that works, but that's weird. All right, folks. So apparently, the roosters lay eggs too. Sometimes, I don't know.
Once in a while, I don't know. Whatever.
I don't even know what to do with that, but it was so weird I had to talk about it, because that's what we do here on the Paranormal Portal News. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up our newscast. Hope you guys learned something new and walk away knowing something you didn't know when you got here. So let's get back to the show.
Most trusted news.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the broadcast for the news. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I think those stories are bizarre. I think the dreaming spider still is the one that's got me going, what? Really? What? I don't know. That one's trippy.
I love that one.
That's kind of creepy, but kind of cool. Like I like the jumping spiders because you see a picture. Let me just pull this up. You got to see what these things look like. I honestly, they're kind of adorable, but not those creepy long-legged ones with the boxing gloves coming out of their mouth. Those terrify me, in a sense. They terrify me enough to get a Kleenex and their existence. But let's see, jumping spider. Let's get some pictures up. See, look at these guys; they're kind of cute. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this over and put it up on screen. Check out jumping spiders. I know some people are arachnophobic, and I get it, but come on, look at those little cuties. Look at this guy. He's just like adorable. Look at that face.
I'm waiting for the delay.
All right. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, exactly.
These are the jumping spiders. So this is the thing that was having the dream. Look at those eyes. Just look at this guy. He's in flight. Wow. That's got to be a meme somewhere, right? Look at this punk rocker. That's awesome. He's all decorated. He's going to a rave. You know this guy's a party. This guy's got to get to the party.
Let's just make the show looking at jumping spider photos. Let's do that.
Look at this one. I mean, come on. They're kind of cute, right?
They are.
What is everybody saying? I haven't seen the chat here. What do you think? Jumping spiders cute? Anybody say anything? No? Jumping spiders? No? What do you guys?
Barb G in the chat says, yeah, that dreaming spider was cool. Jumping spiders do have a personality.
Yeah, they do. They're like I like this guy. He's just like, huh? He's looking like he's just posing for a selfie here. Yeah, I think they're cute. Look at this guy. Close up. Maybe not as cute at that close. A little bit back would be better. But these ones are the funniest ones. These guys do that dance thing where they wiggle their butt around and stuff. It's just funny. Or their abdomen. I guess it's their abdomen, but
yeah, it's their abdomen.
Jumping spiders. Yeah, but they're dinky. I mean, the jumping spiders are like seriously this big. And these guys are dreaming, folks. That's kind of wild. But anyway, they're like ambush predators, so they're kind of interesting anyway. But those
so
faces.
Small.
I know they're just tiny, but they're good at what they do. Pretty good at what they do. So, jumping spiders. Yeah, I think maybe they can dream. Who would have thunk it? But that's what I took from the news mostly. Nobody even bothered to participate in that, do they?
They're just like, okay, I'm waiting for the next topic.
Rachel said they're cute too. Good. Okay. All right. They got eyes for you. Good one, Jess. That one looks like in front of a minivan. Looks like the front of a minivan. That's awesome. All right. Thanks for the nightmare, Cheryl says. Yeah, sorry about that. I know. It was a stretch. Now, I wanted to point out something that Deb posted on the fans page because I thought this was pretty interesting. I never really thought about something like this, but it is a curious possibility. So I'm going to just put it up on screen here and go to the... Deb posted this on the fans Paranormal Portal fans page. It says she turned the page and suddenly felt a cold dread touch on her spine. She quickly turned the page back and waited for the feeling to dissipate. It didn't take long. Sorry, she muttered. The ghost that haunted her house didn't always read as fast as she did. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Right? So if you're ever reading a book and you're getting these jabs or feelings like, hey, maybe you're turning the pages too fast and you're not reading alone. Very cool, Deb. Thanks for posting that. That was kind of neat. Kind of neat stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Right? I thought so too.
Got a reading friend.
You hope it's a friend. But yeah, yep. I thought that was a neat posting. Never really thought about it before, but now if I'm ever reading a book or something, I'm going to pay attention to that kind of those sensations. I mean, why not? What else are they going to do if they aren't powerful enough to actually pick up the book and turn the pages themselves? Then maybe they would read over your shoulder. There's lots of reports of them watching TV, like TV's coming on. Hell, my dad shows up every once in a while and watches TV still. So it's possible. It's possible they just hang out and chill. But anyway, what do you want to do now, Sheldon?
Maybe
we should talk about the new Discord discussion.
I was about to say that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. By all means. What's going on?
Okay. So, a new project we're kind of doing. I don't know if I should call it a project, but another thing, just to have you guys more involved and to kind of have discussion. A big theme that we've been talking about recently is just being able to talk about things. Yeah. So one thing we're going to be doing on the Discord is having a questions of the week, and then we'll kind of go through it as the shows progress on YouTube throughout the week. So, for instance, this week's question, or today's question that we did just today, is triangle-shaped UFOs are referred to as TR-3B. Many believe these are man-made, reversed-engineered alien craft. Mm-hmm. Others believe that these are variants of alien UFOs. Now, what do you guys think? ZX81V2 in the Discord says TR-3B, Aurora Project, reverse engineered. So they believe that it is reverse engineered craft. What is your opinion on it, Dad? Just to get us started off.
I think it's possible because here's the thing. I mean, we know, we believe Roswell happened, and there's certainly plenty of other stories of the military or governments responding and taking what appear to be crashed UFOs and just disappearing with them. And these things are going somewhere. Now, if you had, let's say you found a lightsaber, wouldn't you be bringing it home, trying to figure out how to make another lightsaber or see how does it work? And I mean, it's just human nature to tear things apart and to think of the strategic advantages. You know that if they've got UFOs, they're tearing them apart to try to see how they do what they do. And so, yeah, I mean, it's totally possible that they've gleaned enough information to make these things. Again, it was Ben Rich, I think, of Lockheed Skunk Works. He was the old CEO. I believe it was him that said the quote, "We now have the technology to bring ET back home."
Whoa.
That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement to make. And I don't think he's talking about just blowing them up or something. I mean, why would he say it like that? He could say, now we have the technology to blow ET out of the sky. Okay, then it's a weapon. But, I mean, that's a pretty specific statement to make. And what does that mean? Well, it sounds like it means we can travel to the stars. Or at least there is the ability to travel to the stars. I don't know if we can because we're not invited, but but somebody can, apparently. So, yeah, I think it's very possible that there are man-made versions of these craft around. I don't know to what extent, though. I don't know if they're as widespread as what people think, because if they are around, the last thing they want to do is show their hand, because it's all about strategy and having the best and greatest technologies more than any adversaries might. So, I mean, if they were flying them around all the time, they're kind of tipping their hand. So I think a lot of them very well probably are still alien, but like the ones from the Phoenix Lights, that was like a mile wide.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't made anything that big because where the hell would we hide a mile-sized craft? Not to say it couldn't happen, but I don't believe that it did.
Oh, God.
I think there are very potentially man-made craft out there that people are seeing, but I don't think they're as prevalent as, I don't think it's fair to say every time you see a triangle UFO, that's a TR-3B, which is the alleged code name for the man-made alien craft. But I don't know.
Now, Wes says the full quote is, "We now have the technology to send ET home in a box."
And that's not the version I heard at all.
No, but I on the contrary, though, I do like Android's thoughts in the Discord. He said, "I believe it's likely just a different model, just like we have different models of cars that are different shapes and sizes. But I do believe there are at least 3 or more different species visiting. But each of those species have multiple different types of crafts, different models." That's a good point too. Like, if we don't have them, that would make sense that there would be different variants of alien UFOs.
Yeah, no, I think that there's merit to that. I think that's a great point. And I've pondered the same thought myself. Like, when you see a cigar craft, is that like a specific race? And then you see a saucer, is that a different race? I mean, are these different potential races of aliens represented by these different looking craft, because there's a huge spectrum of shapes that people have cited. There's pyramid shaped things, there's triangles, there's boomerang, there's cigar shaped, there's tic tac, which is like sounds to me like small cigar shape, but then there's the orbs, big orbs, small orbs. Those seem to be represented. Those might just be some kind of drone technology, but what if there's smaller aliens in them? Now there was a series of stories that came out of Asia, and Brent Swanser of Mysterious Universe did an amazing job breaking this down and finding a whole bunch of different stories of these children seeing these small spaceships, and out of them coming these very diminutive, like action figure or smaller type beings coming out of them. And including like when one of the kids tried to pick one up and he got shot by some laser that left like a pinhole in his arm and hurt. And so there probably are many different races. And so wouldn't they very possibly have different technologies or varying technologies and shapes and whatever? So that's a cool angle. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Android says maybe the cigar/cylinder are the alien tourist buses.
Yeah, those stories are kind of interesting because there are those people that have seen the alien craft with windows, and they can see the aliens up and they're looking at them. And I think that's pretty bizarre. Like, oh, look at that, a person. You know.
Another thought. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Mr. Manhattan said that, and this is something I've thought about. I think every time I look at the sky, I think about this actually. So Dr. Manhattan says, I believe that they are in our skies at all times. They're cloaked. And I've actually thought about that many times. But I mean, even the one, actually that makes sense, because the one that you saw, and that's in the break video, that's the one you couldn't see with your naked eye, right? You could only see through the...
I don't know that one if I could have or not. The problem was I was already looking through the binoculars. I'm pretty low tech, folks. I have night vision binoculars, but they don't record. So I basically wired up a GoPro knockoff to sit in one of the high pieces, and then I use the other one to aim. And I caught that going by in the sky. With, I'm looking at it like Popeye. I got one eye closed and I'm peeking through the other one, and then I'm trying to make sure the GoPro doesn't move so I can record it. So I never did look at that one with my naked eye to see if it was actually visible or not. But the one that I originally saw, the saucer, definitely wasn't visible with my naked eye. It was only visible through the night vision. So yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that they can cloak in my mind, because that's what I experienced. It was there, emitting light above a huge pine tree. It was flashing lights, like the two saucer pieces were like up and bottom, and then there was a gap between them, and that was like a marquee pattern flashing around and around, and it was not extraordinarily bright, but definitely bright, and I could see it flashing into my eyes. And then when I lowered the binoculars, nothing was there. When I put the binoculars back up, it was still there. So it was absolutely cloaked. And that's when I was absolutely really floored, because the first thing I thought of when I saw it is, I was thinking, is it one of an alien race, or could it be one of ours? Because I've heard all the stories. I knew all about that. But then when I lowered the binoculars and it was gone, but then put them back up and it was there, it's like, oh my God. And sure enough, I agree that they could be anywhere. They could be floating around in any city, any place, any time. And if we didn't have that technology present to see it, we wouldn't see it. Now, as that knowledge spreads, I'm sure these are not stupid creatures. They probably are aware that, hey, I guess they can see us with night vision. Let's go to something else. So it's intriguing as I'll get out. Oh, thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
I need. Thank you, Maggie. That will definitely help. I need to upgrade my GoPro knockoff. There's so much equipment I need if I'm going to do this stuff, and on a serious level.
True.
But yeah, I mean, it was totally cloaked. I agree completely.
Now, I personally lean towards that, or at least I could see those like that we have UFOs. So I wouldn't be surprised, because I believe in Bob Lazar. I watched the documentary, and he even says, out of the many things he said, that we had 9 flying saucers in testing. So
Wow.
if he's correct, then I wouldn't be surprised if some of the ones we're seeing are just tests. You know, who knows?
Could be, but I would still question. I mean, one of the most important aspects of military testing is secrecy, and so why would they fly them over populated areas? And then if they're only testing them, do they want to be responsible after one crashes? And then they got to try to cover that up. You know, if you're in a populated area, that doesn't make sense that would be militarily tested in populated regions, because if anything goes wrong, you've got a nightmare on your hands. You know, people are hurt, lawsuits, and cameras and inquiries. So I think that, yeah, they probably do test them, but I'm sure that they probably don't all around people.
But then again, doesn't the government kind of have the shield that, as that they don't, I mean, they have the shield that as far as the public is aware, they don't have this kind of technology and this and that, so it must not be ours.
Well, but then, you know, even then, if it draws attention to what they're doing, and you know, if anything ever showed up and crashed, it would be absolute nightmare of liability and issues. I'm sure that they don't want to play their hand publicly like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be too risky. Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. So that's my
Android
take.
says. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Android says he said we had 9, but they don't know where they came from. He only knew the one he worked on was found on an archaeological dig. It was very old.
Okay.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's hard to say. I guess it really is hard to say either or. But I think I would lean that we have them. But I guess, are they flight tested? Do we fly them around? Do we use them in certain ways?
Yeah. Well,
I think I would have to lean off of what you said, is that it's too much risk to just, you know, to fly them around and just see what they're like, you know, that type of thing.
Well, yeah, you wouldn't do it around a metro area. I'm sure that they
Yeah.
if they are actually testing them, then they're, you know, I have no doubt, but they'd be doing it in places where people aren't. So, just my 2 cents. I could be absolutely wrong. Maybe it's right in our face.
Yeah.
Who knows? These things are showing up, but I just don't think they're ours in a lot of cases. I think the technology is coming, and that maybe has even been developed based on what they've learned from these craft. But yeah, you know, it's anybody's guess.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Oh, thank you, Cashew. I appreciate that. Thanks for hitting the like and leaving a comment after the show. It's growing, and participation is making it possible. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you all for liking, sharing, subscribing, whatever you do. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, speaking of sharing, we should probably share some more of this paranormal fun. But, ladies and gentlemen, the questions of the week will be out there. We'll be continuing to post them on our Discord. So, Sheldon, did you post the Discord?
I shall post it right now so you can join in on all the fun.
Now, I do have to apologize because we've had the Discord for a while, but I just got absolutely tied into so many different projects. I just hadn't had time. And I apologize to those of you that have joined the Discord. I'm trying to get in there more often, and this will be one of those ways. But I love, if you guys join the Discord, you'll find there's so many posted articles and videos and you know, like nukes and other things that people are running across and posting up there. So it's a phenomenal repository of some really great information. So definitely check it out. And, you know, I will do my best to get in there more often and participate. So, all right. What are we going to do? Let's see what I got next. I got an article here that I wanted to go through, and I've had it open for a while. This is from Thought Catalog, and it's kind of a different one. We haven't talked a lot about this, but funny enough, Rachel kind of hit it inadvertently when she said Witchcraft is much more green tech. We should invest in that. Well, Thought Catalog article that's on deck right now is 9 true stories about encounters with witchcraft, voodoo, and the occult. I was a victim of the bear walkers, the first one, and this is again written by Emily Madriga, and last updated June 1st, 2021, so just last year. But let's see what she's got to say here. It says, I was a victim of the bear walker. In First Nations culture, a bear walker is someone who uses our sacred medicines for bad and not good. They can make someone very sick. Only a medicine man may reverse it, and often comes as a gamble for the bear walker. Once reversed, they will suffer more than the one they made sick. I was 20 years old and very healthy. One night, I had a dream. I was in a field and was picking wildflowers. From each direction, a tornado was coming at me. I woke up in a fevered sweat. That began 2 months of sheer misery. My doctor kept saying that I had a UTI, urinary tract infection. She would give me antibiotics and it would subside for a while. I lost 40 pounds in the span of 2 months. By the end of it, I couldn't walk, barely ate. Finally, my mom got tired of it. My sister bundled me up and went to the hospital. Though an earlier ultrasound showed nothing, there was a huge growth on my ovary. A few days later, I had a surgery. When the doctor came to visit me, he said he had never seen anything like it. It was yellow, almost concrete-like substance around my ovary. Well, I got better, but my mother remained unconvinced and scheduled an appointment with a medicine man. We gave him tobacco and he smoked a pipe and sang a song. He said something along the lines of a woman seeing me at a powwow. She became interested in who I was because of my mother. She threw a piece of medicine in my path and I stepped on it and it went up the right leg. He asked me if I still felt it and I said yes. He took a bone, what kind I'm not sure, placed it in the area and began to suck. Weird, I know. He started vomiting yellow. Like the doctor said, he gave me medicines and rituals for my mom to do. I went home that night and slept for 13 hours. My sickness never returned. So that's by Wacky Detective. And that's pretty intense, right?
That'd be kind of like being cursed, right? In that
right.
sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, there's kind of the same thing, you know, directing negative energy at someone. It could be a negative spell or a curse, or it's either or. It's kind of a grab bag. The next one is, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No.
Okay.
No.
Next one is the dating app witch. This happened a few years ago. I was on a dating site and matched with an attractive person. So I started chatting. We made it to the plans tonight part of the conversation, and she told me she was going to play hide and seek with Fluffy, pointing out the item in their second profile picture, a bloody rabbit mask. Okay, let's be weird. So I played along until she mentioned that they would be playing in my basement. And I thought, how in the hell? Wild, I guess, probably. I lied and told her I didn't have a basement. Immediately she texted, "Oh yeah?" And I heard, how do I make this sound? Snickers booming from the basement. I won't lie to you, Reddit. I about pooped myself. Obviously, I blocked her and froze for an hour before I gathered the courage to check my completely enclosed from the outside basement. I didn't find anything. Thankfully, I didn't have a smart device at all, and I didn't have any speakers that could have been hacked. I didn't even have wireless internet at the time. The basement was completely empty, and I can't explain it in the slightest. It says,
blocking was a good idea.
This was written by Snickle Fritz. Oh, so that's what Snickle Fritz.
Oh,
booming from the basement. Okay, I got it. Now I understand what the hell that is. That's the person, Snickle Fritz 646. The next one is no pictures. I went to a voodoo shop in New Orleans and had a lot of signs up that said no pictures. My friend's mom wanted some voodoo dolls and wanted, it's really, for what? What do you want voodoo dolls for? And wanted to see pictures of them before he bought it. Wait, my boyfriend's mom. Wanted to see pictures of them before he bought it. Okay, I told him not to because I had a bad feeling about it. Immediately after taking the picture, his cell phone lost signal. Mine was totally fine. He couldn't send the pictures, so we walked outside and a car drove by and splashed him with water, but I was dry. Freaked us out. I told him to delete the pictures, and we had to buy the 2 dolls he took pictures of. That was by I'm Writing. Is that circumstance? What do you think?
Yeah, it's hard to say because, I mean, it could be coincidence. You know, I mean, if they both had the same service, then I'd put more merit into it.
Maybe
But
they did.
I mean, there's too many unknowns, I think.
Sure. Well, there is that. I mean, obviously the different companies have different coverages, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's by I'm Writing. Let's go to the Angry Ghost. That's next. A ghost pulled my father from the ankles out of his bed when he was sleeping because he didn't want to go to his aunt's funeral that same week. You will get out of bed and get ready. My mom was with him, of course, and woke up to see how he was just in the middle of the bed with his legs dangling outside, and he was scared, pale from fear. We've had so many paranormal stuff happen to us. Maybe it's because of where we live. But they don't tell us where that is, Sheldon. That was by...
they don't.
What is that? Gemitarius? Gemitarius? Wow.
Yeah, it looks like it.
No, I've talked to people that have been yanked out of bed by their ankles in the middle of the night by something unseen, and I gotta imagine that would be horrible. I mean, there's just no good situation getting dragged out of your own bed by something you can't see.
Oh yeah, and being woken up that way too.
Well, yeah, if you sleep through it, then you're awful kind of special.
Well, yeah, true. But when things happen when you're awake, but like if you're taken out of your dream state and just like in that way, like you're in a daze anyway. So I can imagine that'd be even freakier.
I don't know. I think I'd be freaked out if I was awake and it happened. Because if I was asleep, then I'd be like, "Whoa, what happened? That's weird. I slipped out of my bed somehow." You know what I mean? There'd be other.
Yeah,
ways.
I see it.
But if you feel something grabbing you and suddenly dragging you, yeah,
yeah, true.
That would be so frightening to me. But
because you're already in a daze, so you might not even register what's happening. Actually. Okay.
I live in a daze, Sheldon.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, it's true. That's true.
Ah, nice. I could feel the power is the next one. When I was a teen, a bunch of my friends went through a Wiccan phase, and I honestly thought it was a bunch of hooey, but I played along for the most part because, hey, they could have got into drugs or horses instead, right? But despite thinking it's baloney, there was a moment that made me question things. Us girls had met up to hang out, and one was brandishing a wooden walking stick. "I've poured my energy into this totem," she declared, then started passing it around the room. The others cooed about how they could feel the power within it. As they held it, of course, someone handed me the stick eventually, and I could barely contain my eye roll as I took it. As I held the walking stick, it sent a tingling sensation up my arms. I passed it on quickly. Not as dramatic as some of the stories here, but gosh, that was weird. That was by Reasonable-Hornet. Huh. I think that's very possible that there are items that are energized per se. We talk about items that may have spiritual hauntings attached to them, and that's an energy, right? So it could be a personality kind of energy, or it just could be an energy. And oftentimes, in terms of esoteric practices, occult practices, make a wand, make a staff, make a what's the word? The necklaces.
Scepter?
No, not like a scepter, but what is the word? Talisman. Making talismans. All of those practices involve charging the item. Like just by virtue of making something, it doesn't give it power just because you've made something into a form. It gives it power when it's charged, and it's charged through ritual, through meditation, through elemental practices, and et cetera, and it's charged over a long period of time. It's not just something like, I've made you, kazam, you're powerful now.
Yeah.
It's quite an in-depth practice to charge an item. So it doesn't surprise me that an item could have an energetic presence. Not at all.
Yeah, me neither. When you think about it too, another way to kind of think about the possibilities that even we can obtain, I think, is like you hear all the stories about all the things ghosts can do. Like, all they are is energy, in a sense, energy that we can't detect in some respects. And all we are ghosts in a fleshy
meat suit,
mecha suit. Yeah.
mecha suit. What are you made
It sounds
out
cooler. Yeah.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we are an energy encased in a physical object. Sure.
Yeah.
There is that. But yeah.
So who's to say we can't charge things and put energy into those things? You know, who knows? Sure. I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Well, the same is true for religious icons. I mean, it's like fashioning a cross means nothing, just in the form itself. What makes it powerful is the belief, the faith that is poured into that symbol as a symbol of the divine, you know, in the order of Christianity. So the item itself is just made of wood or metal or whatever, and it's no more special just because it's in a shape than a stick in the yard. But it's the faith, the observance of that, and you know how important it is to the person, and that's what charges things. Faith is incredibly powerful, very very powerful. The next up is the silver pendant. When I was in high school, I had this sudden bout of nightmares and sleep paralysis. I wasn't going through a stressful time or anything, and I don't freak out easily. I grew up watching 80s and 90s horror films, and I normally sleep in total darkness and the doors closed. These nightmares were super sudden and happened almost every night. It was constant sleep paralysis where my room was on fire, or there was bats thrashing around above me, or there was a figure hovering over my body, and I couldn't breathe. The classic. Sometimes my speakers let out a strange frequency type sounds, even when it was switched off. Things would fall off my shelves, etc. My mom would always find me sleeping on the couch the next morning with the TV on because it was so crazy. Suddenly, it all stopped. And when I told my mom, she admitted that she had sought advice from a priestess who engraved a blessing for me on a silver pendant and instructed my mom to place it in my room. She didn't want to tell me to see if it would work. I've never had such an episode since. Wow.
There you go. There's that talisman you're talking about.
Sure. Piakuchi? I don't know if that's how you say it. Piakuchi? I don't know. Sorry.
The cooch. I don't know. What?
Never mind. I'm just going to leave that where it is. My grandma made me pay. I was about 13, and my grandma was a believer in spirits, witches, etc. Well, I just pissed her off, and she told me that I was going to pay. That night, I woke up at about 3 in the morning and saw a little kid with a green shirt on in my room. He stared at me for about a minute, and I couldn't look away. He then ran out of my room straight through the door, laughing. About 30 minutes later, another figure appeared in my room who looked about 15. He just stared at me and mumbled something, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't talk, scream, or move. I could only look. He then vanished into seemingly thin air. The next night, I woke up at about the same time, and it sounded as if there were 50 people in my room screaming at me to take myself out, take out my family, and just a lot of negative thoughts in general. The next day, I got anointed, and it stopped. Later that day, I had to see my grandma, and I instantly started to get sick after. I hugged her, and she just sat there with a smirk on her face. I then got anointed again, and it stopped. I still can't explain how she did it, but I still, to this day, am afraid to make my grandma mad. Oof.
Jeez.
That was by Poo Poo PP 153. Wow. Gotta love the names.
What power she had. My God.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I do. I don't know. I mean, I certainly believe that there are practices that can give people a certain amount of control over things like that. But oof, it's a lot of responsibility, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's freaky. It is freaky, but I believe it's possible. I used to work in an occult bookstore. I used to work in an occult bookstore, and we sold mostly psychic nonsense and spiritualist new agey stuff. But there was a bookcase in the back with the real expensive stuff, and the owner was this real old, real wise man. This woman used to come in when I was working, and she'd just talk. For ages and ages, it was a nonstop stream of BS. She knew this, she did that. Did you know about this? On and on. She'd suck up a ton of time, and you've never heard the term energy vampire. It would apply here. When she left, you'd just feel drained. One day she comes in while the owner is there. She walks up to the counter and starts her shtick, and he's very polite and listening, but she just sorts of runs out of steam, like within 60 seconds. She hums and haws a bit and then walks out of the store. It would usually take me an hour to get rid of her, and he shut her down in a minute flat with a smile on his face. I mention it to him, and he says, "There's a circle of protection painted under the floor for a reason." Ooh. So he knew. That was by Shai-Din. Huh.
Oh.
Very interesting. Yeah, I guess, there are those people. I think we all know those people. And I don't think in 99.9% of the cases, they don't know that they do it, but
Oh, yeah.
they suck the life out of everyone around them. And
Yep.
I dealt with a lot of that in the many jobs that I've had in my life. And there are some people that will just drain you, and they don't really know that they're doing it. I don't think it's an intentional malicious thing in a lot of cases. I think that there are other people that can do it as well, and they do it very specifically. But I think that there are just those people that are, maybe they're just, I don't know, like something about their aura or something that draws energy from around them rather than from internal. And they need energy, and so they gravitate towards those high energy places because it charges them. And I think
Isn't that just an extrovert?
maybe the extroverts. I don't know though. Extroverts usually are pretty fun people. I mean, I don't have that same experience just talking to an extrovert, but there are just some people that can just suck the air out of a room and just leave your head reeling. But I don't know. It seems pretty common. But anyway, I don't mean to imply that these people are energy vampires by nature or anything. I just think some people need energy, and maybe it's because there's holes in them themselves, and so they need other people to fill in those holes. But I think that there are, again, the negative practices where they do try to draw the energy from people and things around them because they want to utilize that energy for themselves. And there's beings, I think, that do that as well. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Pharmacy Seeds Network says extroverts also radiate energy. Vampires just suck.
Yeah.
In every way,
In every way.
When I first read that, I didn't read that in every way part. Now I did. Okay. I understand now. But,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like some extroverts, they kind of get you pumped up with them type of thing.
Yeah.
But there are some people that like you want to leave after 5 minutes type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and our good friend Robin Moonshadow's in the chat, and she says, "Yeah, people that put you to sleep, the person you cross the street to get away from." Yeah, and I feel bad because I do that sometimes, or I have in the past with those kind of people. I mean, I really avoid it because, man, they'll just suck the life out of you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So great to see you, Robin, by the way. Thanks for stopping in. Revenge is the next one. Kid I was friends with in high school was jumped on 2 separate occasions. First, a mutual friend lured him outside his house where a large group of dudes waited. One of them jumped him and beat him fairly badly. Second was a very high school HS meet me after school type of fight, in which my friend won, but he was subsequently jumped by the fight's loser's boxer friend, and that one he got severely beat up as well. So fast forward a year or so, and I had kind of grown apart, and he tells me he's getting into Satanism and made a pact to sell his soul. Oh no, poor kid. He asked for 3. The one that lured him, The loser of the second fight and the boxer all to be taken out. Oh, no.
Oh.
Luring guy died in a freak car accident 2-ish years later, thrown from the back of a topless Jeep. Loser on the second fight died 4-ish years later, heroin OD. Boxer died 4-ish years later, don't know how. We're in our mid-40s now. He's married with a kid, all probably totally coincidence, but at the same time, it was like, what the hell did you do? Yeah, that's
yeah.
You know, and it breaks a person's spirit to be victimized. You know, I mean, it's horrible, horrible thing when people get bullied and stuff. And, I remember the days. I remember, I was in school in the 80s, and there wasn't a lot of fights, but there was some people that just seemed to get, I don't know, they just got a real extra dose of cruelty from people. And it's hard to observe, and I'm glad that things are changing where it's like, they make a point to point out bullying and stuff, because I don't know that it changes much, but at least there's more of awareness of it. I don't think anybody wasn't aware of it, but when you see how badly it breaks a person's spirit, it's like, my God, why would you do that to another person? So I don't know. That's just painful.
Bunch of sociopaths out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's just kids being stupid, but that stupidity can run pretty harsh, and it can charge a big bill for the person that has to deal with that for the rest of their lives. So it doesn't surprise me. I mean, a person that feels disempowered, of course, will be attracted to get involved with things that they feel will empower them. And if you're coming from a place of pain and hurt, you can't quite go the pious route. You go the angry route. And the angry route is, I want to destroy everything that hurt me. And that's scary. And there again, that's too bad. That really breaks my heart that kid got brutalized like that. But that's a pretty steep price tag to say I want these people not to be around because they hurt me. But anyway, that's horrible stuff. But anyway, that wraps up that whole story, that whole article. So do you believe that there are practices out there that can make spirits come to people, that can cause bad luck to happen, that can change circumstances around things and I don't know, torment people? Do you believe that there are practices? Do you believe that the practices of any practice, really, it doesn't matter if, and this isn't me saying, anything about any of them, but voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, Satanism, etc. There's the Rosicrucians. There's so many different, most of those schools teach of the importance of what would be understood as karma. Because the idea around these types of schools of thought is what you send out, you are attracting back to you. And usually by a multiple of 3 is real common that you hear that. There's multiples of 7. There's all kinds of different takes on it. But basically what you send out is what you can expect. So if somebody would act on such a possibility, what do you think? I'd like to see your thoughts about that. So I don't know. I think it's possible.
And I think another thing to be careful of is making deals out of being hurt or in pain too. Like, I don't know. Let's say you're mad and angry, like you were saying, how you're in a place of pain and now you want to make the deal fair, basically.
Yeah, level the field. Yeah.
Because you don't know who's listening. You don't know what's listening.
That's
like,
a
as
good
far
point.
as dark energies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's very true. I see a new name. It's Joe Ticci. Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for coming in and checking out the show. If you've already been here, I'm sorry. I just noticed it now. And Ron the Sage says, I have seen people who practice this. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I think, there's lots of schools out there with different ideals and ideologies. So certainly there is that out there. My name is Earl, not Carl. All right. Well, good. Aggravated. Gotcha. Rachel says intent and karma does work. I did a binding spell on a mean boss at the store location I worked for closed, scattered the staff to other locations. Yeah, in that case, I mean, if that's not really malicious though. Your intent wasn't malicious. It was just to correct a wrong or to disempower somebody that was not good. No, it's my first time. Okay, Joe. Well, welcome, man. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for checking it out today. And hopefully you like it enough to subscribe. Just saying. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah.
And like.
Yeah. And ring the bell. And join the Discord. And join the podcast. No, just kidding. Okay.
Better get out a notebook, Joe. This is going to take a while. We got a lot of our criteria. But yeah, good article. I think those things are very real and a very real part of our world. And I, believe what you want, believe how you want, and whatever. But I don't know. I think karma's probably pretty real. So.
Maggie asks, what about boundary busters and people who won't take no for an answer? That's potentially attracting in life the opposite of your own energy. Perhaps I don't understand.
Boundary busters and people who won't take no for an answer. Yeah, that's potentially attracting in life the opposite of your own energy. I think so. I don't know. It's kind of hard to address things like that directly because there could be any number of reasons. Like if you continually attract people into your life that are hurting you, like say, for instance, you just always attract people that take advantage of you and constantly take and don't give. That's just an example. I think you can there's an old saying, screw me once, shame on you, screw me twice, shame on me. And I think that sometimes experiences like that in life happen to teach you that you have to change your circles or change, what you find attractive because, and I'm not making light of it, but and I'm only speaking from experience, trust me. I think I might have the record for the most dysfunctional relationships out there, but I mean, I'm doing good now and all, but I'm just saying, I really had some tough runs in the past, and maybe I was the tough run. I don't know. Of course, we can only see from our own perspective, but until you fix the you in that equation, there's only one common denominator in all of our problems, and that's ourselves. So why do those things keep coming to you? Is it a curse or something? Maybe, but it might just be that people make poor choices and sometimes make choices based on their insecurities rather than from a place of strength and being, in a good space. So I think you got to fix yourself, and then a lot of times your world will fix itself just because you're not the same person. Yeah. So, you're welcome, Maggie. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, the phone.
Very well said.
Oh, thanks. But the phone lines are open. Sorry about that. I forgot to mention that. But the number is down below me on the lower third there, if you want to call.
As well as in chat.
As well as in chat, because Sheldon's going to put it there. Or you did put it there.
Already did.
All right, very good. So let's move on to something else. Thank you guys for humoring that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. If any of you got thoughts that you want to share, leave them in the comments or, in the chat if any other thoughts come up about that. Time for a life change. Throw out all that old baggage. Amen, Robin. I agree. Because again, Sheldon Thomas, not the number I meant.
I just saw that. Oops.
What number is he looking for?
I'm confused.
You might have to use bigger words or smaller words, Burger. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, Sheldon.
Calling me dumb? Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. But let's go on to the next one. I got a whole series of some hot takes from Sasquatch Chronicles. And, I mean, he's been busy on the blog over there because there's a lot to choose from. What time is it? God, it's 8:34. How's that possible? It feels like we got done with the news 5 minutes ago.
To me, it legitimately does feel like it's been 5 to 10 minutes since we closed out the news. Oh my God.
That's the weird part. That's the weird part of the show is this is a time anomaly. And I always say that tongue in cheek, but I'm always amazed at how'd we get here? This doesn't feel doesn't feel right.
Legitimately, I'm not Yeah, we don't overreact when we're surprised. We're legitimately surprised when we look down at the clock. It's like, oh my God, it's something like less than half an hour now. Like, that's nuts.
Yep, I agree. It's crazy. But anyway, let's go to the Sasquatch Chronicles stories that I pulled up for you. Again, I like to say this at the front end of reading stories from Sasquatch Chronicles, but everybody knows Sasquatch Chronicles, the podcast. But I don't think people realize the value of information on the blog. If you go to sasquatchchronicles.com and check out the blog, you're going to find tons of amazing articles and people's encounters and stuff. And these are some gems. Absolute brilliant takes on what people have experienced. So let's go to the first one here. And this is from August 5th. So it's relatively really new. But special thanks to Wes for letting me use these. And this is running on two legs. It sounded huge. The Sasquatch Chronicles blog. A listener writes, in September of 2016, this happened in the mountains around the small town of Rooch, Oregon. Myself and my wife had been working on a small marijuana farm, managing the day-to-day operations.
Nice.
What?
Nothing.
Did you say nice?
Nothing. Continue.
All right. Just lay them out there, Sheldon. Just deal your cards. Every Saturday night, we would all gather around by the house and have a barbecue and fire with karaoke. Ooh, that must have been fun. Rolling my eyes here. One of these nights, I was sitting out front with my friend and owner of the farm, G, and there was just four of us this September night, myself and G, hanging out in front at the table and our wives inside chatting in the kitchen. It was about midnight or so, and as myself and G were sitting there, vibing up and relaxing. I'll bet you were. We started to hear all the neighbors' dogs barking. As they were barking, we could hear them running towards our area, barking and getting louder. There were at least 5 to 7 50-plus pound dogs, and they got about 20 yards from us and on the shared road and started wailing and snarling like wolves. The next noise we heard, I'll never forget. As the dogs closed in, you could hear something on 2 feet take off, running not more than 25 feet away from our table on the outside of the garden fence. I know what different animals sound like when running, and this was not one of them. The dogs lit into this thin, and you could hear and feel it run by the heavy, loud thuds from each step. The dogs ran it through the yard and into the woods, and boy, this thing sounded like a freight train barreling through. Trees were snapping and brush was flying. Our friends who were city folk had no idea what it was until I explained, and they were shocked and awestruck. From what I could tell, when it ran off, it had to be watching the kitchen windows and the outdoor table, where we were for at least an hour or more. I don't know if the curious smells of the Caribbean jerk chicken or the old apple tree outside the garden fence that made it come close, but boy did it. When you can feel something running away through vibrations and the sound as the feet slap the ground with every thud, there's no explanation for it. It had to be at least 900 plus pounds to make the sounds running. It did. And there was no mistaking 2 legs for 4 with this. I've been around all the big animals, and this was bigger. I still dream about that night, and it haunts me still.
Jeez.
It's no wonder they don't like dogs. I mean, I think it's because dogs just pick up on them. They can either, it's a scent thing or it's a sound thing or whatever, or both. But man, dogs do not like these things. And generally dogs react in a real fearful manner. And maybe it's the amount of dogs. Since there were so many dogs in this pack of neighborhood dogs, maybe that's why they felt emboldened to continue the chase, because dogs are a pack animal. But it's when it's one dog, generally they get really quiet and really meek, and it's like they can feel that danger. And there's no question that a lot of these stories with encounters with Bigfoot start out with somebody's dog having real problems.
Oh yeah, true. That's right. That is kind of a commonality with the stories involving dogs in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I've covered a story. Guy had two huge Rottweilers. They were ferocious, and he couldn't understand why they were cowering under the bed, shivering, and then suddenly, stuff hit the fan with activity and stuff around their house, dealing with something very large, and those dogs knew they didn't want any part of it. So. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if that means that if just by smell, if dogs are cowering or reacting in a certain way, I wonder if there's like a trigger for it. Maybe a genetic something.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe there's an ancestral memory there of these things. Now, it's also no mystery that there's plenty of belief that Bigfoot and stuff will go through and take out coyote mobs, take out whole packs of coyotes. And
Jeez.
So, they just don't seem to like to share the space. Now, every once in a while you hear a story about, that sometimes they befriend the family dog, and the dog will be out and playing in the woods and barking and running around and not sounding stressed at all. But I don't know. I don't know what to make of those, because every other story is like, man, the dog is shaking and tail between the legs, absolutely meek. So, whatever the case, yeah, dogs and squatches don't seem to mix.
Yeah.
It gives up all of their stealth because, I don't know, we're pretty obtuse. Of course, dogs, I don't know how much more they hear than us, but it's a hell of a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So, very cool. But that was a good story. And there's another one coming up that had a lot of, that was really intense. Here's the next one from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. This one's from August 2nd, going backwards here, I guess. This is a pretty short one, but it says, I shot one out there over 40 years ago. I shot one out there over 40 years ago. A listener writes, I've been trying to figure out if I need to email you or not, and I'm not really good at this email stuff. I've listened to all your episodes except the member-only ones. I'm not a member yet. You're an awesome guy. You take time to listen to everyone. You've done a great job with your podcast. Okay, here I go. Excuse me, hold on. Episode 830 talked about a man from Okeechobee, Florida, who had an encounter in Fort Drum and on the prairie. Then I listened to episode 873, which was about, I think, I shot a man. I'm from Okeechobee, I guess is what we'll go with, Florida. My brother had an encounter on our home place growing up. Wes, I shot one there where it's not far from the prairie. I was with my stepbrother when I did, and I'm shaking writing you this email. I also have a couple of pictures of some from where my stepbrother has hunting land leased down there. It's not leased like that, but a hunting lease is what he's talking about down there. Episode 873 said, you never know who else may have shot one and needs to come forward. This happened back in the 80s. If you would like to talk, you can email me back. Wow.
Jeez.
I understand that, I don't know, when people see these things, it's such a departure from what they understand and know. I mean, this is something right out of the Twilight Zone when, there's something so huge and so big and you don't know if you're on the menu or if they're just going to keep walking. I can understand people reacting in a fearful way, but my God, do you really want to roll those dice? Man.
Yeah, especially since normally they're not just, they're not alone.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah, you're not just shooting one, you're shooting the whole tribe that might be out there all around you.
Oh God, yeah. No, I couldn't roll that dice. But I mean, then again, I mean, as far as we've read more encounters than the general person, so I guess it's hard to say.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's the next one, and the next one after that is this one. A few strange things in my life from August 8th. Hold on, man. I'm froggy all of a sudden. There we go. I think this is also from Sasquatch Chronicles blog. A few strange things in my life. A listener writes, years ago I came across a set of childlike footprints in the snow. It was deep snow, 12 to 18 inches deep, along the top of a ditch, which had a creek running through it. I didn't follow them far. I was about 10 or 11 at the time, just out playing in the drifting snow, but I remember thinking, how could a little kid have walked through the snow by themselves? Given the size of the tracks, I would put the person at about 3 to 3.5 feet tall. The footprint was only about 4 to 5 inches long. It was so out of place. But it was close to the apartment complex I lived in at the time, on the outskirts of our small town, so I didn't think much more about it. I've seen a ball of light floating through the woods. It was only once, and there were 2 others with me that had seen it as well. At first we thought it was a light from a flashlight coming our way, but soon realized the light was on our side of the trees. And it wasn't shining or anything, but instead it was casting light in all directions. We were camping in what is now known as the Hoosier National Forest, and we had a large lake to our backs, so we would have seen any light shining from the lake. The light lasted maybe only 20 seconds and was gone. Then I would guess 15 minutes later, 1 to 2 foot waves splashing on the bank, like the wake after a boat passes by, but there were no boats. It was, and where we live is an idle zone. I don't know what that means, but maybe it's that you can't drive fast. You gotta just no wake.
Oh,
like a
yeah,
no
right. The no wake zones. Yeah.
That might be called an idle zone somewhere else, but yeah. So someone did respond to this in the comments, and I wanted to read this too. It said, Ron S. says, I had a similar puzzling thing while winter deer hunting after new snow, approximately 10 inches deep. Late evening in my tree stand at the edge of an old logging road, no tracks, but I did hear something break through a frozen beaver pond last light. Definitely wasn't the cracking of ice as it expands. Back to the stand at first light the following day and saw what I thought were kids' boot prints because of the size and wondered where the kids' tracks were. There were none. Where the dad's tracks were, but there were none, sorry. And what were they doing out there in the dark until I realized the space between the tracks was even farther than I could possibly reach, and my inseam is 34 inches, and I'm familiar with tracks, so it didn't make sense. Until a friend and customer told me of seeing an all-black humanoid crossing a 2-lane blacktop road that following spring. It was dragging an injured leg and gripped its thigh with its hand. It still managed to jump like a kangaroo on one leg and cross the road very fast, in 2 leaps. It was funny how unknowingly at first, both of our strange experiences we almost kept to ourselves, connected to the same area within a mile. He never had anything unexplainable happen before that outside of some fake-sounding owl noises and the feelings of being watched through the window of his rural home at night. Also, after the snow was gone, at least another year later, I had noticed a couple young trees that looked as though they were grabbed like an upside-down wishbone and pulled apart and split to the ground, and no other damage that might occur from a buck rubbing. I had never seen that before, and not sure if it was a marker or sign or something I'm not aware of, but it was in the same line I found the tracks, and just a stone's throw from the beaver pond. It would have taken an incredible amount of strength to pull even a small tree apart like that. It was also where you could have just started to see me in my stand if you were walking in the woods. All of this put together is pretty wild.
Jeez.
Right.
Wow, that's an intense experience too.
Yeah, so
intense story rather.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because again, this one sounded like it had some terrible leg injury at some point and basically lived its life hopping around because one leg was useless or whatever. I don't know, but of course it's sad. It's got to be hard enough just living in the wild, but if you've got only one leg to work with, that's amazing.
This makes me think of extraterrestrials. Maybe that's what it's referring to, but the whole like orbs of light thing.
Yeah.
Isn't that usually involved with stories having to do with extraterrestrials / UFOs?
Well, orbs is a tough subject because it can mean a lot of things. There's spirit orbs, there's orbs dealing with UFOs, and there's these ethereal lights that are just orbs of light that seem to be around wild areas, forests, mountains, that people observe these strange ghost lights going up in through the hills and stuff. Now, I've heard some pretty wild accounts of what people have witnessed with these things, but I've heard, and I think it was actually on Sasquatch Chronicles, but somebody was talking about some investigating they were doing, and they were Bigfoot researchers, but they went to this area and they saw those orbs of light, and I don't know how it worked, but apparently the orbs kind of touched down, and there was this creature in its place, not like a little Bigfoot, but like this, I don't know, like almost like what you'd imagine some imp to look like an imp, as I recall. Now, I'm just vaguely pulling this from memory. It was something I heard years ago, but they shone their flashlight on it, boom, it turned back into an orb. And then once it landed and popped back into they were in this like almost like a battle with these things, with shining their lights on them to keep them away. So
wow.
I don't know. I don't remember the context of it much beyond that, but it was a strange account of something appearing in place of the lights and then returning to the light form of the ball of light. So when you say orbs, it's such a big subject because
I guess so.
There's a lot of different phenomena that describes orbs, but are they all the same or intertwined? I don't know. Doesn't seem to be, because there's different sizes, different colors, different locations. The both times that I've seen an orb were both in homes that I lived in. So, and there was just a ball of light with my naked eyes, just seeing this little miniature sun thing go by me. Not so bright I couldn't look, but definitely casting a pretty brilliant light around it. So,
do we have a call in, by the way?
Yes, we do. We
okay.
do. And it is our good friend, Mr. Nacy. How'd you know? Huh? Did he say it in the chat?
He did.
All right. Well, let's get to the call. This is Mr. Nacy. How you doing, brother?
Well, hello, my brother from the same Mother Earth and Minion.
Minion.
Hey, Nacy.
All my kids are known as Minions.
Yep, we are the Minions. That's right.
Absolutely. How you doing, Nacy?
I am as fantastic as the universe allows. Thank you for asking. And yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. Good to hear from you. What's on your mind tonight, brother?
Enjoying the show, as per usual. Long-time listener, first-time caller tonight.
Yeah.
I wanted to share, as a Paleo-American of the Anishinaabe people, we have things where we talk about like wards or protections or rituals or ceremonies in order to build shields, semantics. Sure. One of the things that we use is what we call a prayer tie.
Okay.
And I was going to share that real quick for the audience, because they talk about different tools or things we can do to help focus our intent, our power, our energy. So basically what it is, it's a 4 by 4 inch piece of cloth. The color of it is your choice. I would suggest a color that resonates most with you. And if you think of the 9 colors, you got black, white, gray, red, blue, yellow, green, purple, and orange. And so you would take this piece of cloth and you would lay it like a diamond in front of you. And we use something called kinnikinnick. Some people will call it tobacco or bear, oshka root, or willow or cedar. I would say again what resonates within your entity to utilize. So you would take a little pinch of this and set it in the center of the cloth, and then you would fold it in half so it looks like a triangle. Then you would take the 2 outer edges and fold it up to the point of the triangle so it looks like a little tear-shaped drop.
Okay.
Then you would take about an 8-inch piece of string or twine, and then you would wrap it around kind of like the teardrop of it, but you would do it in like a slip knot. So you're not trying to tie a knot like traditionally when you're tying your shoe, because we think, my teaching is that when you tie a knot, you disrupt the flow of it.
Okay.
And so there's a thing that's called a slip knot that you put it on there. I do this 4 times with the slip knot, and then you'll have a longer piece of the twine or thread. With that longer piece of the thread or twine, you can then go to like your doorknobs or above your windows, and you can hang this.
Okay.
Or if you want to build up a ward or a shield around your home, you could go around to the different points of your property and hang them in a tree. Now, if you utilize this mechanism, then I would also suggest that, possibly depending on your circumstance, if you feel like you're being attacked a lot, or if you're feeling like a lot of negative energy is being directed at you, then you want to change these in a frequency equivalent to what you're feeling. So like if you're feeling you're being attacked consistently, I would say going from new moon to full moon, or from new moon to new moon, or full moon to full moon, and even further apart would be your equinox and your solstice. I personally utilize the equinox and the solstice, and I go kind of hardcore a little bit, where above my portals that go outside, I hang cedar branches or pieces of cedar. But it all depends on the individual, because the reason why we call it a prayer tie is while you're sitting there and making this, then you put your intentions into, you focus your energy into your wanted result. Now, as you were talking earlier about negativity, I would strongly suggest, and please I beg of thee, not to do that. Even when you get angry and you get caught up in negativity, do not put your intention into these things to cause negativity, because then it can backfire on you. And more times than not, it will, especially if you direct this at a individual that is known to have special abilities, so to say.
Sure.
So choose your decisions wisely. And I have found that when you do utilize positivity in your intentions, and your intentions are for your needs more so than your wants, then these things can be acquired or obtained. So take it with a grain of salt. And, I am a hypocrite and also the stupidest entity I know. So,
well, we love you anyway.
It'll be what it was.
Hello?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I said we love you anyway.
Oh, well, how can you not?
Right? That's what I'm saying. No, that's cool. I think it's...
All right, Phenomenon.
No, well, hold on. Phenomenon. Yeah, Phenomenon is coming up. I was going to say, I think it's really cool to have different examples of what means to be protecting yourself in different schools of thought, because I think that most people feel, there's just a handful of ideas out there. It's like either your religion or something to that effect. And that's not to suggest that those aren't indeed powerful as well. They certainly are, but for those people that are maybe less spiritually minded in terms of dedication or focus into a religion, some people feel like, well, there's, what do I do? Because I can't say that I'm this or that because I don't really adhere to a lot of the tenets of those things. So, I think having other examples, other ideas, and other approaches is powerful. It helps people out. So I'm really thrilled that you came on and shared those.
Yeah, absolutely. If we look at it, because I was raised Lutheran, Christianity, And, a strong talisman of the Christian realm is the cross. And so people will put their intent and their energy and give that cross the power. And this is where it is utilized in protecting yourself, shielding yourself, because it's so much easier to put focus into something tangible because then we can see it.
Right.
We hear it all the time where they say the power is within you. And that's absolutely true. But unfortunately, in the social conditioning of America, we're taught to doubt ourselves. We're taught not to believe in ourselves. And that's where the struggle lies within, because we forget about that. And it is difficult when in your life you've been beaten down metaphorically or held down. It's hard to embrace our inner energy, but it's there. Especially when you can be like a conduit and tap into the universal energy. Because when you break it all down, it is energy, frequency, fields. And those fields can be manipulated because they are there abundantly all around us. And so once we can create that focus, that intention, like a conduit, we can bring it in and utilize it. So do positivity, and if you need help, Brent is a great source. He knows many that can assist you, and every now and then, if you can catch me on one of my positive days when I'm not so full of excrement, I can help also.
Well, very cool, brother. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and sharing your insights and knowledge, man. It's great to hear from you.
Oh yeah.
Yes, my for $19.99, I'll be your many sins man, because I'm full of wisdom.
Well, there you go, man. Thank you so much. Great to hear from you, man. Have a great night, and my best to the family.
All right, love you. Toodles.
Love you
Bye,
too.
Sheldon.
See ya.
Take care, Naysay.
All right, very cool. Well, it has become a show.
Oh my God, it's already
it's already time. Wow.
Oh, wow.
So in closing, ladies and gentlemen, check out the Discord if you want to get involved in more regular day-to-day chatting about the paranormal or the portal. And I'll do my best to try to keep myself more involved in there as much as I can. At least I got to have it open. But I ended up starting to close it because I was having issues with my computer, and I just had to close everything that I didn't need until I got something sorted out because I had some kind of malware. And ever since then, I haven't reopened it as much. But yeah, I'll be on there. Sheldon's on there. Android is actually our mod over there on there. So we're all, oh, look at that. Delete that one, Sheldon.
Yep, that's gone.
Okay, good. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you. I didn't see that.
Oh, Rachel got it. Oh,
Rachel's like she's got like that kung fu grip when it comes to the mouse on the spammers. So, but that's all we got time for tonight. So thank you so much. And remember, we'll be back Friday and Saturday. And hello to Don. Good to see you, brother. Glad you tuned in for at least part of the show. Great to see you. Hope everything's going good with you and having a good week. But we'll be back on Friday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on YouTube, and Saturday night. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday are our live shows, so if you want to get involved, come on in. If you want to make sure you're involved and know when we come on, then subscribe and ring the bell so that you get the notifications when we go live. But every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll be here lighting the portal torch. And I would love to see you guys coming back. So spread the word. Spread the word. Hey, Jake, good to see you. I'm sorry we didn't do shout-outs tonight. But
oh, yeah, shoot. You're right, we didn't.
I've been checking out all the names coming in, and it's great to see you guys, as always. It's like getting together with friends every time we do a show. It's like, oh,
true.
Hey, it's like Cheers. Hey, Norm, I feel like I'm in an episode of Cheers.
That's part of what makes this a great community is we all kind of, love each other and know each other in some ways. It's great.
Yeah, absolutely. We are kindred spirits, all of us. So thank you for coming and kindring your spirit here with me. I appreciate it. And Sheldon, of course, does as well. Sheldon, can you post the Discord one more time? Before
I will do it one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, just so you guys know, but there will be a questions of the week. We're going to post questions, and whatever your feedback is, we'll go over it on the next live show. So we just have to keep that. And if you've got a question that you'd like to see posted in there, by all means, send it to us, and either to myself or Sheldon in private chat on Discord, and we'll post your question too. I mean, it doesn't have to be my question. It doesn't have to be Sheldon's. It can be just a paranormal question. So if there's something you'd like to take a little survey about, by all means, please do that. So Sheldon posted the Discord channel in chat. Just click it, become a member, and it's free. There's no charge, and we'd love to see you over there as well. Remember to check out the podcast. Latest episode is actually a transfer from our YouTube show when Tony Merkel called in. It was such a great discussion. Don was like, yeah, we're going to make that into a podcast. So he did, and I've been getting a lot of great feedback from that. So thank you all for those of you that do check out the podcast. If you don't, go to iTunes, iHeart, Pandora, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox, and a bunch more, and search for the Paranormal Portal, and we'll see you there as well. And otherwise, let's see, anything else noteworthy? Nothing that I can share now, but just know that there's a lot of things in the works, and I'm doing my best to keep up with it, but there's a lot of exciting stuff coming up for the Paranormal Portal. So, and I'm so glad you guys are here to be a part of the family. So anyway, that's all we got for tonight. Sheldon, anything in closing?
Just be on the lookout for those of you that want to join the discussion in Discord, and just become part of the discussion. We're going to put up another question for either next show or Saturday show, one of the two.
Both.
And
there'll be two questions
both.
put up there. We'll put up two questions. And again, you guys can certainly pose your questions to us as well. We'd be happy to post those too.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be a Discord question of the night on every live show here on YouTube. So going forward, keep an eye out for that. That's a new chat community in the Paranormal Portal Discord. So we'll look for you there. But other than that, folks, that's all I got for you tonight. Thank you all for being here. Remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And we'll see you on Friday night right here on this YouTube channel. So that's it. Roll the credits.
Good night.